So let's dive into this short but really powerful story called The Monster in the Mirror. What's so amazing about it is how something as simple as a toothbrush can teach us this huge lesson about empathy, creativity, and, just finding the courage to face our fears.
And it all really comes down to this one question. Can a monster teach us to be brave? It sounds kind of backward, doesn't it? But as you're about to see, sometimes the very thing that scares us the most actually holds the key to our own bravery.
Now, our story doesn't kick off with some epic quest. It starts with a quiet, everyday struggle, one that feels absolutely massive when you're the one going through it.
For our main character, this little girl named Luna, brushing her teeth wasn't just some boring chore. It was a full-on battle. Just think about that for a second. For most of us, it's a 2-minute thing we don't even think about. But for her, it was a daily source of real conflict and anxiety. That really sets the stage for what she's up against.
Okay, and this is where the story gets really creative. See, Luna's fear isn't just this vague, fuzzy feeling. Oh no, she gives it a name, a face, and even a location. The monster in the mirror.
She actually points right at the toothbrush and says, "That is a monster." This is such a huge moment. By actually identifying what's scaring her, she's taking the very first step toward dealing with it. She's not just trying to get out of brushing her teeth, she's telling us what her reality feels like.
And to make it even more real, she draws it. Her monster is literally a toothbrush, but with little eyes and fangs. And this act of drawing it, it's just brilliant. It takes this scary feeling that's all trapped inside her and puts it out on paper, making it a real, tangible thing that you can actually look at, talk about, and, well, figure out what to do with.
So, what happens after she makes this big declaration? Well, it leads to the absolute heart of the story's lesson, this unexpected alliance that she forms with her mom. Now, the typical reaction might be to just shut it down, right? To say, "Don't be silly, it's not a monster." But her mom chooses a totally different path. Instead of dismissing Luna's fear, she gets right in there with her. She says, "Okay then, let's turn it into a good monster." This is a masterclass in empathy. She doesn't fight against her daughter's story. She joins it and helps her write a new ending.
So this new partnership doesn't just stop with the cool idea. Nope. Together they build a whole new story. A brand new routine designed from the ground up to make Luna feel brave. Their new routine is like a little 3-act play. It's so cool. First, the monster says hello with all the bubbles from the toothpaste. Then, it has a little dance party with lights, going from one side of her mouth to the other, and for the big finish, it tickles her tongue and then, poof, it disappears. The key thing here is they didn't get rid of the monster. They just gave it a new, much more fun job to do. So, what was the result of all this creativity and teamwork and empathy? Well, the story ends exactly where you'd hope it would, with a big smile. The transformation is total. The monster wasn't scary anymore. In fact, it was her friend now. The very thing that caused so much fear has become a little buddy in her daily routine. It just goes to show you, her fear wasn't beaten with force. It was transformed through imagination and connection. This story really leaves us with 3 simple but pretty profound ideas. First, monsters, our fears, they aren't always just plain bad. Second, sometimes all you need to do to deal with a fear is to give it a name. And third, once you've named it, you have the power to write a whole new story for it. And all of this leaves us with one last big thought. Luna's monster was a toothbrush, sure, but we all have our own monsters, right? Doubts, anxieties, big challenges. This story is just a beautiful reminder to ask ourselves, what monsters in my life could use a new story?